Sitting with me is Dave Smith, and he is the town engineer, and he's responsible for being in charge of developing the concepts for our suspended bridge. So we ended up with two major projects out of this grant. Completed.
Very showy projects.
Very showy,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good point. Very cool. Yeah.
Good projects that bring people back to the river.
Yeah.
And that's our whole theme here, the return to the river.
Hello, my name is George Arthur. I am a member of the Hockanum River Linear Park Committee in Vernon, and I've been working on this for quite a long time. The headwater for the Hockanum River is in Shenipsett Lake in Vernon, and then it flows down through Vernon, Ellington, Manchester, East Hartford, and comes out on the Connecticut River. Our problem here is that we couldn't get across this river here to connect to Ellington. And today is one of the first days where we're really, we've been cleaning out brush and trees and things, but this is when we first start the building, and we poured the concrete block, and we're building concrete block towers to support the cables to go across the river.
The story behind this is that we had gotten a grant to do both the bridge and a boardwalk from state through the Recreational Trails Program for $175,000. And we went out to bid for the bridge, and costs were coming in at well over $300,000, mainly because we had to meet some floodway requirements, as I remember, because we were in the floodway at the site of the bridge. So I brought the problem. Dave had newly arrived in the town of Vernon, and I brought the problem to him and said, can we think outside the box here? And lo and behold, at the very next linear park meeting, we came back, and I nearly fell off my chair because he said, we can do this. And he had done some online research and found that this concept of a suspended bridge he felt would work. And
yeah, I found some information on the internet that was adaptable to our particular set of circumstances here. It looked like it was going to be an adventure, and it turned out to be exactly that. So I signed on. I'd only been working there probably 2 months at that point. We sort of committed to this.
yeah,
I don't know that I want to build another one anytime soon, but it was fun to do this one. Yeah, it was great. So.
Oh, it's quite a project. Well, from there we started working with the Vernon Greenway Volunteers, figured out that we would have a volunteer crew.
Right, yeah, April of last year we had that kickoff meeting and we talked about it, and I remember remarking to them that I was about to do something I'd never done before with people I'd never met. What could possibly go wrong? So it was the beginning of a fun partnership for sure.
Yeah, it worked very well.
My name is Don Bellingham, and in 2005 I organized the Vernon Greenway Volunteers. By the end of year one, we had a total of 4 members, including myself. We have always recruited via word of mouth, and today we have something in the mid-80s as part of our membership. What we do includes having trail managers who take ownership of a trail segment, a weed whacking crew that helps keep the hiking trails open, a trail maintenance team that works on the stone dust trails, and planting adopters that take ownership of the 9 plantings that we maintain on the trail system. As the ad hoc projects, we formed a committee and got a $5,000 grant that allowed us to put up a mural in a graffiti-laden area. And in relation to the new bridge that is being built, and it completed in 2017, we donated 650 volunteer hours towards that project. We also have a sponsor system in which we collect about $5,000 annually in tax-deductible donations.
Hi, this is Ann Harford from Ellington, and I heard about the project through the Vernon group. We have been trying to link the Ellington and Vernon line together for at least 4 or 5 years.
So this is the site as it existed prior to a lot of the heavy clearing that we needed to do. This would have been early July of 2017. You can see the far distance, the trail, the old trolley grade, and this is taken from the southerly side, which is kind of just the mound, was the abutment between the two trestle bridges. The river obviously is running from the right to the left. So this was before we got in with chainsaws and had to remove brush, took out trees, make access sites, opportunities, and
Right.
it was a lot of clearing, a lot of heavy lifting.
Yes, I had walked through this many years ago. Somehow we were able to get to the other side, and when we were planning the linear park, and we could see it was just really a beautiful walk through this open space, marsh area, and if we could ever make this happen, I knew this would be a really great section of the trail, and it's come to pass. We're very happy with that.
So this is the view from the north side, looking back at where the first picture was just taken. So
Yeah.
it was another opportunity to see, how much debris was in the way after 3 or 4 decades of being uncared for. So
Right.
this is the clearing crew. This is excavating for the foundation for the base and the tower system on the north side of the river. We had to prepare that, and shows us setting up a form. It's 8 by 12, and it's 12 inches deep, and we're going to fill that with concrete, and that's going to become the base for all the tower on that side.
Okay, this is now the north side.
This is the north side, yes.
Right.
There's the concrete going in. There's it after it's been poured, prepping for bringing the block in.
Oh, this was quite a job.
Yeah,
There
there's
was more than a couple people.
there was a lot of people involved in it. Many trips with the trailer. There's actually 70,000 pounds of precast cement masonry blocks involved in this project.
70,000. Yeah, I know a couple of people indicated how sore they were the day after this was.
That was a lot of work.
There's more of the block.
Yeah. This
Oh,
is
there.
offloading it. We brought it in, backed the trailer down 1/4 mile down the old trolley grade. We moved it by hand. We moved it with Bobcat. We moved it with Dan's little red wagon that got pressed into service.
Oh, that probably helped.
It did, yeah. Okay, so that's just prepping the block, putting it in place, making sure that it's square.
First row block
Yeah,
down.
Yeah, more prepping, next course coming. And then we filled the blocks with crushed stone, just to make sure that they had adequate drainage.
Right.
And continue to rise out of the ground. It was 9 courses, I believe, before we actually got to above what you can see now. Most of it, like an iceberg, is below grade. So.
Right. Yeah. You had to do a lot of cutting here, Dave.
Yeah.
too,
Well, each one
right?
gets custom cut. You start with the full blocks, but they have to all get kind of trimmed and shaped so that it goes up according to plan. But that's
Right.
a view of the finished tower on the north side. It's got a base and 2 towers, which support the cable system, and then ultimately the walkway.
This is a nice view across the river.
Yeah.
This tells you what phase done.
Yeah. So this is cement coming in for the anchor. Each side has probably a 14,000 pound anchor that the cables run through, so that it provides the support to keep everything taut when it's finally loaded with the deck.
Right.
And in that, when we strip the forms, you can see the tubing that we left to allow the cables to run actually through and through each anchor system.
This had to be really thought out well ahead of time.
Yeah, there was a fair amount of pre-planning for that, but there's 7 cables in all, 5 underneath the deck and 1 each side to be the hand cable. But they're all 3/4 inch stainless steel, looped back through each of the anchors on both ends, the extreme north and south of the project.
Yeah. It really shows how much work is underground that you don't see.
Yeah, all that got buried, and now you walk over top of it without even knowing it's there.
Right. Yeah.
So once we got all the towers, bases, and the actual towers on the north and south side prepared and ready to go, we had to fill them with concrete. And the only way to get the concrete that we needed to the other side this time was to use a pump truck. So here's a little image of the cement truck coming in. There you go. And they're going to load a hopper on the backside of a concrete pump, which had 140-foot reach to get to the other tower on the other side of the river. So that allowed us to move really quickly and get the material where we needed it, as we needed it. So there's the
Oh,
boom,
there's the-
booming out over top, about to fill that tower. And that's a picture of some hard work. That's a lot of weight on the end of that nozzle.
Yeah, I
So,
bet.
so that's the towers filled and the concrete for the footpad, the threshold.
There's your son.
Yeah, smoothing things out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good worker.
Yeah.
So, this is stringing the cables the day of the assembly. So we had to thread them through the tubing. If you remember, we had tubes set not only in the anchors but also in the tower systems themselves. And then we just thread the stainless steel cable through. Each one was 200 feet long. I ordered a little extra. And here we're kind of tensioning them up just to get them all evenly laid out so that the deck would be pleasant to walk on with no tilt or anything. So.
Yeah. I noticed you're going really slowly here. Is there a reason?
Yeah, because a minor adjustment down there had a major adjustment out over the river, so we had to be careful. So this is the time lapse of the deck being put on. So those 5 cables that were underneath for the foot gets joined together by a single 4x6 that's crosswise, and then the decking gets applied to that. So this is the beginning of that march across the river.
At this point,
It's
across the river.
It's across the river, and
Yeah.
you can easily access both sides.
Yeah.
Although the 2 ramps that approach each tower, north and south, hadn't been built, so you had to kind of step up to get onto the bridge itself.
By 3 o'clock or so, you had gotten across the bridge, finished the bridge, and no, you were just starting. You still had more to do.
Yeah, there was.
You went on till sunset.
I didn't leave there until 7 o'clock that night. It was
Yeah.
the last one off the site, and it was an hour past dark.
Right.
Cleaning up and making sure everything was safe. Because at that point now we had a bridge that people could walk on, but it didn't have any side panels.
Right.
It wasn't 100% tuned up. I was a little concerned that we would, because even while we were building it, people were trying to walk around us to go over it. So
Right.
it was the craziest thing. But
Right.
this is another day coming back and getting them uniformly taught. Those little tendons that are on the side that connect the hand cables to the bottom cables also capture those sleepers so that the whole unit kind of flexes as you walk on it instead of individual pieces. So it's part of a big system.
So does it all come packaged together, or is this your design?
Well, it's just an adaptation of that Bridges to Prosperity
Prosperity.
design. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But I had different products that I was able to access, so it's pretty well modified. They would recognize it, but they wouldn't necessarily say, "Oh yeah, he just copied us." It's got some subtle differences. So the only thing missing at this point is, I think we came back one more weekend to put up the side cables.
Yeah.
So,
What I thought was really good thinking too, Dave, is that you had come across the treads that you put across.
oh yeah, actually, you know what? That was a suggestion that was made by one of the Wetlands Commission members.
Okay.
Pressure treated wood can be slippery, and then I knew that the
Yeah.
first part of the ramps were fairly steep. The middle obviously is flat, but so we put those little grip treads on there. They're really easy to walk on, but they give you some sense that you're not going to slide off of it.
Right, right. So there's two kinds. The yellow is at the steeper part.
Yeah, just
right?
to kind of warn you that there's something going on, and then the matte brown is just for the field.
Across.
Yeah. So this is us getting ready to put black chain link fence as a side panel, also connecting the
Right.
hand cables to the lower cables, and this gives you a little more sense of definition. You know, people walk over this with their dogs and small
Right.
children and
Little
strollers
kids.
and stuff, and
Right.
you know, so that's a nice little feature. And because it's black and a fine chain link, it's almost invisible.
Right.
You know, from any
Thanks
distance.
to Marty Sittler.
Yeah, Marty made that suggestion about that. I mean, I knew about the black being handy to use when you're trying to mask something, but he was suggested using a tighter chain link, so that's a 1-inch mesh.
It's our Parks and Rec
Yeah,
director,
Mark-
Marty Sittler.
yeah.
So we had a lot of players in this whole project.
We certainly did, absolutely. And that's the assembly team, most of them.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's
Right at the end. That was a great shot.
that is an excellent shot, and it gives you some sense that this thing is not going anywhere
Right.
soon.
Yeah.
That picture of the bridge team on the deck probably is, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 adults, I would guess. And everybody was concerned that it was going to overtax the bridge in some way. Each one of those cables holds 45,000, is rated for 45,000 pounds. So there's actually 5 underneath you and 2 over top you. So that works out to somewhere around 300,000 pounds. So you could put 1,000 guys my size on the bridge and it would still be okay. It's probably not necessary to test that, but it certainly would be able to be fine. So I'm pretty confident that as long as it's in maintaining good repair, that this is going to be a long-serving member of your trail system.
Ultimately, we ended up spending about $70,000 in materials, and
Yeah.
that was it. That's a far cry from the $300,000 cost.
Right.
Every single hour of labor that was put into it was volunteer labor.
Yeah, thousands of hours, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
had total-
1,400. Yeah, I think we ended up with about 1,800. I have to go look at the spreadsheet. About 1,800 hours,
Yeah.
all in all, when all was said and done. So
So
it was really, and I'm hearing from members of the public and so forth. This has gotten to be very popular, and what it is.
it's kind of a regional attraction now.
Right,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
people are coming from all over. So there are many people to thank through this. For the Greenway Volunteers, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
They provided all of this volunteer.
And it was so
labor.
much fun to work with those guys. You know, at
Yes.
first I was a little leery of how we were going to pull this off, but
Yeah.
everybody pitched in. They were there every time we needed them. Don would send out a
And-
little notice that there was a work day coming up, and there'd be more people than actually we could sometimes have tasks for.
Right.
But they all found something good to do and something that contributed to the success of this thing.
Right.
But I was a little concerned the day that we were going to try to cram the entire assembly of the cables and the bridge deck and stuff in one place. So I actually asked a group of friends of mine called the Northford Timber Framers to help us
Right.
out. And you remember they showed up en masse, partly because this is such an offbeat, goofy project that I couldn't have kept them away if I'd have wanted to. So many thanks to them, and appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you guys.
Yeah.
Made me look good. So.
Oh, you had some members of your family there.
Oh yeah. I got friends and families, anybody I could put the arm on. I asked them to come help. So
Well, it's a good thing they were there.
the word is spread. It is definitely quite a little attraction.
Yes, very popular. We still have yet to do the stairway and the landscaping, but that will come in another month or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not doing anything, come to Water Pollution Control Plant on
100 Windsorville Avenue.
on Windsorville Road, right?
Windsorville Road.
Enjoy a walk across the river. I'll never forget the meeting at which Don Bellingham said, I had this idea about an adoptive trail program. And that was the birth of the Vernon Greenway Volunteers. Don's
Keep-
program
keep
was
it clean.
the ideal thing that
Attractive, yeah.
make them attractive,
Yeah.
get people involved, and that's what
It's
Don's
a very
program
important
did.
concept, that involvement that you have, what's the word, begun.
Mm.
More people should get involved in making everything better than they found it.
When you first began thinking about it, you stopped a couple of people that were walking on the trail,
Yeah.
asked them if they would be interested in being a Greenway volunteer, and that's how you started with a handful of people.
Wow.
Now 80 people.
Isn't that amazing?
This is an amazing program, and it's probably unique in the state.
Yeah.
If
It's
you
getting
talk
recognition.
to people who hike our trails here in Vernon, one of the things they say is these are the best trails we've ever seen.
Yeah.
They're the best trails in the state. A lot of people come from
All over.
all over the state
Mm.
just to hike our trails.
Exactly.
It's
That's
amazing.
We were the second national trail town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Manchester beat us first.
Yeah.
Doug Smith.
Yes.
We were second national trail town.
Yeah. I can't applaud Dave Smith as much as I would like to, because without him we wouldn't have gotten that bridge done. I mean, he put in
I know.
so much of himself into that
Yeah.
bridge. Unbelievable.
Well, in
Yeah.
1970, we were thought of as crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see,
I got news for you. We know it now.